In today's world, thanks to crowdfunding sites such as Kickstarter, we as gamers get a chance to expand our experiences, uncovering indie gold, all the way up to getting access to colossal black holes of money. But along with such endeavors, Kickstarter and Early Access also gives us a chance to dive into adventures a little more out there than most AAA offerings today. With a fantastic example coming by the way of Jutsu Games, who back in 2021 set out to blend both a classic RPG adventure with the utter chaos of the early Grand Theft Auto titles, giving way to an experience that truly has to be seen to be believed. My name's MitchManix, and today we take a dive into the bonkers world of Rustler, Grand Theft Horse. Rustler opens with a short live-action cutscene setting the scene in a very Guy Ritchie's Ren Fair fever dream style, with even Walmart Jason Statham to really set things off. Along with of course a cameo from Brian from accounting, all a bit of fun hitting a note I'm sure of at least somewhat intentional cringe.
Fall down now, please.
Oh yeah. The game begins with a flyover shot of the land. A land crammed full of a whole range of goofy and chaotic scenes, setting up the game's GTA-inspired medieval escapades, with the clearly Men in Tights-inspired MC introducing our protagonist, Guy.
His head is bald, eyes are red, he's always staring so cold, and for a pouch of coins he shows his sellers very hard of gold. Check it out.
Who we find nursing a hangover as well as currently getting his ear chewed off for apparently deciding to relocate his neighbour's cow onto the roof of his neighbour's house, an argument that swiftly descends into a brawl, giving us a first look at the game's combat system, which with its mouse targeting, heavy attacks and parry system is a nice blend of mixing the classic GTA top-down style with this ARPG flavour. With thievery being the name of the game, we waste no time horsejacking a local and riding off to our next objective, making sure to stop off and grab any weapons we encounter. Now in our first major town, we meet a gang leader who sets us out on a job to prove ourselves by seeking out and stealing a knight's horse, relayed to us in the game's odd voiceover, sounding akin to Arnold Schwarzenegger attempting to eat a far too hot sausage roll. Furthermore, we are advised to swing by Pimp a Horse, following the deed to cover our tracks. Tracking down the target horse, we snatch it up, and quickly catch sight of the alarmingly swift law enforcement situation that follows, leading to a police chase on horseback, as well as a confirmation that Pimp a Horse is indeed as silly as it sounds, acting as the game's pay and spray system from the Grand Theft Auto titles, restyling our horse and dropping our heat with the law with it. Returning the horse, we are greeted by our buddy, literally named Buddy, who after congratulating us on a job well done, explains that he has got his hands on an invitation to the land's grand tournament, and asks us to meet him tomorrow to discuss more. Heading home to Mother, we are asked to do a spot of ploughing to finish off the work day, finishing off the set of quests and getting a look at the game's skills system. Rustler, being more of a chaotic Grand Theft Auto-inspired ARPG, provides skills in the way of boosting melee and ranged combat stats, survivability and quality of life perks around the game's mount and companion systems, both things we will get a little bit more hands-on with later on. Beginning day 2, we meet up once again with the leader of the local gang, who tasks us with the job of tracking down another knight, this time to take them out as an assassination mission, once again to prove ourselves to this mysterious gang of criminals. After a little target practice to get ourselves ready, we head out into the woods to track down our target, which goes terribly. First by mistaking a wandering town guard for a knight and kicking off a police chase that ends in face-planting disaster, followed then by realizing that back in the olden days it took quite a while to reload one's boomstick, so end up getting in a bit of a debacle running from our target while frantically pressing every key to try and figure out which one it was to switch weapon. Oh god! Well, that's not change weapon, that's change pants. What even was that? Ah, I think I remember. The old fart button. With the knight defeated and his body tucked away from prying eyes following a visit to the town gravedigger, it's another job well done, and to celebrate we head out with our skinhead hero to do a little bit more exploring, coming across another staple of the classic Grand Theft Auto titles, and Rustler's first minigame in a nearby village, that of course being the Rampage challenges, or in the case of Rustler, its Murderfest alternative. Short challenges where the player is tasked with taking out a number of enemies using a particular mode of destruction, as seen here with Guy frapping around on a chariot, with the game even featuring some more out there versions of this game mode later down the line, with even a medieval tank on offer for our bold bruiser.
I've got a fucking tank, mate! Wow, the fucking medieval tanky dickhead.
Heading into a nearby large town, we find more side activities by the way of the game's horse races, which are a nice change of pace for the most part, despite its sometimes terribly placed directional arrows. The horse races, and indeed horses in general, controlling well, making it even more embarrassing that this indie parody RPG is able to provide an experience that still eludes Blizzard, it seems. Progressing with the main plotline, our buddy updates us that we will need forged documents to be able to travel to the capital, and with it the grand tournament. So must enlist the services of a bard in town who dabbles in forgeries. After tracking the bard down, we find out that he is rather unpopular with the locals, it seems, leading to a bit of a bloodbath while just trying to keep the guy alive. As we escort him home, and he reveals to us that he will be charging $5 grand for the documents we need to progress, as well as giving us a look at the game's bard mechanic that I'm still not quite sure I fully understand, even after now finishing the game. The game allows the player to find and recruit bards as temporary companions that will follow playing various bits of music, and there are even skills to unlock to reduce the cost of these companions, but I still have no idea what they actually do. Aside from standing around, beatboxing and playing music, adding ambience that with the game's odd vocals feels more like a deleted scene from Bruce Almighty. Either way, the task of generating a large sum of cash for this bard being a tactic that the game uses a number of times to hit the pause button on the main plotline and encourage the player to venture out in search of funds, by way of the bonus activities as well as the game's side quest content, the latter easily being the game's most enjoyable, but also on occasion, cringe-inducing content. The side quests will see our hero meeting a whole host of quirky characters, from a scientist that gives us access to all manner of crazy experimental items, to a group of knights that have recently given up their search for the Holy Grail, instead turning to making their own booze, and the Spanish Inquisition that appear in ridiculous hiding spots, and give missions such as launching round Earth believers through the air using a trebuchet. The game's side missions are very hit and miss when it comes to its fun parody of RPGs, and for me at least misses a lot due to it leaning too much into its pop culture references, as opposed to setting up its own funny moments. An example would be the game's use of Monty Python references, as with the previously mentioned characters along with more by the way of the French soldiers and the Black Knight from the Holy Grail, being used in scenes that are sometimes exact copies from the movies that it's referencing, and after a while becomes all too predictable and a little drawn out. And that's coming from somebody who practically lives in an episode of Monty Python, which is a shame as some of the homegrown bonkers moments in the game are hilarious. Examples such as being tasked by a priest to encourage the townfolk to attend mass by punching them in the face, and after ending up in prison after being betrayed by that gang leader from earlier, now looking to take out the biggest bloke around to make a name for ourselves. Finding out that that massive dude is actually named Cheerful Billy, and that everyone loves him, and our sucker punching of him instantly pissing everybody off. Rustler on occasion sets up some really funny moments, and I can't help feel that if the developers dialed back on the pop culture jokes and references a tad, and put in more of their own ideas, the game would overall be better for it. Now on the larger island, but incarcerated, Guy and Billy quickly hatch a plan to escape using a combination of explosives kindly donated by Guy's mother, and hallucinogenic plants, as what would a GTA parody RPG be, without the everybody's accidentally out of their minds on Persian rug scene. Everybody including the NPC we are escorting as part of the mission, which quickly made the whole experience feel a tad tedious to say the least. Oh, for God's sake, that's a very nice dance, but we need to leave. But unfortunately, as is the way of escort quests. What? Where is he? He's there! He's literally there! Now released out into the wider zone, we quickly set to work once again working through the main questline, along with side quests and activities, stealing various vehicles and horses to take part in Rustler's versions of the taxi and ambulance missions, which are, well, exactly that, along with collecting horses for a horse trainer, which again is just a reskin of the car collection missions seen in a number of the GTA games. The quests just about add enough variety to keep things entertaining, while also constantly pulling inspiration from elsewhere, and being a bit too on the nose with its humour, such as meeting a posh noble who wants to be a rapper, that the player must assist on a number of missions to help their rap career, including one where there is a performance with literal beatboxing, beating boxes with a stick, with once again the goal to generate enough funds to open up the final chapter of the main storyline, which sees our hero finally attending the grand tournament, and with it a number of combat challenges, featuring a one-on-one showdown mode also featured on the mainland in the form of a Fight Club style side activity, as well as jousting, which for me by far was the most clown shoes game mode the game has to offer, feeling so unintuitive that it almost felt RNG based by the end of my time with it, but at least served as a formidable final boss of the game featuring just before the conclusion of the story. Overall, Rustler in its attempt in taking the chaotic world of GTA and injecting it into a medieval ARPG leads ultimately to a hugely hit-and-miss experience, taking so many elements from both the inspiring games as well as so many pop culture films and TV shows makes the game feel at times that it could have been cobbled together by anybody, and does lead to a fair amount of the game feeling a bit dragged out. But at the same time, the game also shows that it's more than capable at creating fresh and genuinely great moments within its world, with some really well done missions and interactions. The game's visuals, controls, and performance are done well, and makes me particularly interested in the upcoming yet another fantasy title, which after looking into it seems to be developed at least by some of the same team that worked on Rustler, and looks to be a much more expanded out RPG experience. As for Grand Theft Horse, a game to pick up if you're looking to kill some time, possibly on a handheld, and don't really want to think too much about it, and I mean really not think about it. But it's hard to recommend at its full price considering how much of the game is cobbled together from other media, such as Mel Brooks and Monty Python, and is so on the nose with its emulation of it, but there's enough here to say that it may be worth holding on for this team's next release to really see their chance to shine. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played Rustler or any other weird or wonderful MMOs or RPGs? As always, I'm keen to get your thoughts down in the comments. Please drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an upload. We've got some crazy stuff coming up. I want to give a massive shout out to the channel supporters who help in keeping the content coming. Oh good lord, look at them, they're so beautiful. If you're interested in joining as a channel patron for all sorts of perks including behind the scenes, bloopers, and full exclusive videos, the link to the channel Patreon page is down in the description, along with the channel Discord, which is available to everybody. I also want to give a huge thank you for 100,000 subscribers. It really puts me at a loss for words, I have to be honest. I appreciate each and every one of you absolute legends, and I'm really excited for the future and to have you along with me. I may sound a little scuffed, but it's because as soon as I got to 100k I got really ill, which is not weird omen. I don't know, hope that's not some sort of omen. So that's why this one's a little bit delayed and why I may sound a little weird. But that's enough for me, as I've rambled on enough. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Shit! Jesus, calm down! Oh dear lord, what have I done? Standing upon his steed like a Segne, the former being mostly due to his reputation of being slightly less than accurate with his spells for unknown reasons.